Alright, so I wanted to provide a follow-up to my first video on my Smith & Wesson 5.7. I now have put 500 rounds through the pistol. If you're curious to know what all I've shot, the boxes there are in view. I acknowledge that there's other varieties out there, but currently what you see here is what was available to me in my locality. So after I posted my first video, I made it a point that every magazine I shot from that point forward would be loaded to the full 22 round capacity, just to see what kind of issues I would get and whether the feeding issue I had earlier persisted or gradually went away. So I can say that, as unusual as I find it to be, there does appear to be somewhat of a break-in period for the magazines. After I went past my initial 150 to 200 rounds, I got a lot less issues, but I still did at random times continue to get a stovepipe of a loaded round. When that did happen, usually it would occur within like the first 4 rounds of a fully loaded magazine. So anywhere between the 22 to 18 round mark. Now, like I said, over time that has greatly diminished, but it still will pop up from time to time. The other 2 issues that I've encountered recently is I did have one failure to extract. I don't know why that was. I didn't see anything obviously wrong with the case. The case was not stuck in the chamber, so I was able to just close the slide, re-rack it, and get that empty case to eject, and then continue on with my course of fire. The other issue I've had, and it's only happened to me once, it was around the 400 round mark. The slide failed to go into battery and it locked up hard. Like, I tried to open it, could not open it. So I knew the round in the chamber was a live round, and I didn't necessarily want to like pack up and go home knowing that there was a live round stuck in the chamber. So I basically just took the pistol and on the bench ended up just smacking the back of the pistol until it finally went into battery, and then I was able to fire that round. After that round cleared, I didn't have any further issues. I opened it, I looked down the barrel, inspected the chamber, didn't see anything noticeably wrong. There didn't seem to be anything abnormal with the operation of the pistol from that point forward, but it's just one thing to be aware of. As far as I know, there's one other person that's indicated that their slide is locked up on them. The cause, to be determined. Now, like I said, I have put 500 rounds to this pistol. So far, I've cleaned this pistol twice. So when I first pulled it out of the box, I disassembled it, made sure all the assembly lube was cleaned off of it, lubricated the slide how I prefer to do, and then reassembled the pistol. I went out to the range, shot my initial 100 rounds, came home, disassembled it again, inspected all the internal parts just to make sure that there wasn't anything glaringly wrong. Since the initial 100 rounds, I have not cleaned this pistol. So I have 400 rounds through it now with no cleanings in between. So there's just a few things that I want to point out as far as just how the pistol's wearing, what you might expect once you hit the 500 round count. So if you look at the barrel, there's obviously marks where the barrel interacts with the slide while it's moving back and forth. Those areas where it's made contact are at this point now highly polished, but I do not see any removal of the finish. The finish still remains intact, so that's looking pretty good. One thing to note, that as the brass cases eject, they do hit the top of the slide right here and leave brass marks. So over time, that may eventually wear down the finish of the slide. So if you are concerned particularly with how your pistol looks, you may want to put like some protective tape or something there, just so that those brass cases don't mark up the slide. Me, I'm not particularly concerned with it. The other thing is, if you look, so the breech face is obviously very dirty after 400 rounds, but I don't see anything glaringly wrong. One thing I did note though is if you look around the extractor and then also where the pistol locks up, there are a lot of brass shavings. I don't know if this is indicative of the 5.7 round or if it's something to do with this pistol in particular. I just don't know enough about this round to make a determination, but it just seems like there is like an abnormally high amount of brass shavings coming off the cases as the pistol cycles. But I don't have any reason to believe that that causes any issue with function. Now let's go ahead and disassemble the pistol. And we'll take a look at the barrel and the barrel shroud. All right, so we'll take the barrel out of the shroud. And right off the bat, I mean, it is at this point feeling pretty gritty. It no longer wants to slide in and out of the barrel shroud freely. You can see the gas port. So there's obviously a lot of carbon buildup. I'm not sure what that green color is. Maybe that's a little bit of a copper fouling. But you can see that after 400 rounds, we are getting some carbon buildup going all the way from the gas port up into all the way to the end of the barrel. So I'll get this cleaned up, and in a future video I'll show you what it looks like post cleaning. I also want to take a look at these locking lugs and see if I can see any noticeable wear once I get them cleaned up. So there will be another follow-up video, but I just want to let everybody know that I have reached the 500 round count. And I will reiterate the fact that I'm not particularly, impressed with the reliability of this pistol, but it has gotten noticeably better since the initial 100 rounds.